Can the Golden Knights bounce back from Sunday's loss in Anaheim when they take on a divisional foe tonight, the LA Kings, winners of 3 straight at the Fortress, happening tonight? More on the way, coming up ahead right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by the Sleeper app. Download the app and get up to $100 match on your very first deposit. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. So, Chris, since the Golden Knights knocked off the LA Kings in a 3-2 shootout victory back on October the 28th, Los Angeles has now won 3 straight at Toronto, at Ottawa, and in Philly. They were a pretty good road team, if we recall correctly, a season ago, and they won in Philly a 5-0 shutout win in their last outing. LA winners also a 5 of 6. Their only loss during that span, Chris, was the loss of the VGK. Can we anticipate another closely contested and tight game between these two tonight?
Oh, I think that's a safe bet. Big 4-point game. McNabb was talking about that yesterday afterwards. Kings have points in 9 of 11 games. Golden Knights have points in, was it 12 of 13? Is that the math right now? 11, whatever it is. The Golden Knights only didn't have a point
12
in one
of
of
13.
the games. Yeah, so you have 2 tough teams matching up against each other. It's going to be a fun one. The Kings, Golden Knights always get a little scrappy, always, like you said, tightly contested. And this is where you get to see what the Golden Knights can do. They're a rush team, right? We hear this from Cassidy. They rush out of the zone. They get the puck down the ice very quickly. The Kings don't necessarily allow as easy of exits as Anaheim or other teams around the NHL. So this is where the Golden Knights, they'll try to be a rush team. They'll try to impose their will, if you will, terrible pun, on the Kings. But they're going to have a plan B and a plan C. Plans B and C are basically dump, chase, check. Wear out the defenseman, make them tired come second and third period, make a mistake, or make them tired of getting, to quote Alec Martinez, make them tired of getting checked into the first row of the seats where with someone eating their nachos. And that's how the Golden Knights can win on the offensive side of the game.
You would think now that Bruce Cassidy, by this point, knows a lot more about the Kings and the Pacific Division. Remember, last year came in sort of blind, and now trying
he even
to
said that too. He even said that.
Oh, he did? Okay.
I thought he made a comment about not knowing much about, but he had a good record against the Pacific.
Yeah,
with Boston. Record. So yeah,
I
could be wrong.
I
could be wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. And the 1-3-1 now, he understands just how to attack that a little bit better. So should be interesting. Jack Eichel won the last game in the shootout. LT came back and shut out Los Angeles in the shootout last week. Who will be in net for the VGK tonight?
Oh, it's got to be Aiden Hill. Got to be. Logan played the last game against Anaheim, and Logan was fine. Cassidy alluded to the fact that the puck just seemed to have eyes in the Anaheim game. Ducks had limited chances, and those limited chances sometimes just have way getting in the back of the net. So look for Aiden Hill to be in there tonight, and they could have a pretty strong game. Thinking a little low scoring game. We'll talk about that in the third segment.
All right. VGK now faces a team that's 7-2-2 and perhaps a contender now for the Cup as they moved up, I thought, into the top 10 plus 1,800. The Kings are now to win the Stanley Cup. So not a team to be taken lightly. So Chandler Stevenson yesterday, a maintenance day. You were there. Alec Martinez skated early. We don't want to call it load management, though, and sitting him for the Anaheim game, because we don't do that. We do not do load management. I think they put more of an emphasis on this game tonight than on the Anaheim game, to be quite honest with you. And then,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, so Martinez sat out that game. Wah is not ready yet. He was skating around early. And then you also saw Zach Whitecloud yesterday in the red jersey at practice.
Yeah, White Cloud's been in a red for the last 2 practices now. Will not get a opportunity to play until he gets a full practice in wearing a non-contact jersey. So the soonest we could possibly see him is Friday, but the plan seems to be more towards the road trip after that. But you never know. They could get him out there for the scrimmage on Friday against the Sharks.
With all of the road construction, it was easier to get a player, when they called them up from Chicago to Las Vegas back in the day. If you got to go across the strip or anywhere near there. But Jonas Ronbjorg was called up again. Will he take anyone's place tonight?
Ronbjorg being called up, it's semi-noteworthy. He was talking to Ken from Sinbin yesterday during the practice, and we saw no Stevenson out there, but the comment that Ken made, well, Ronbjorg's not here, so we don't think that's going to be anything more than like maintenance days, which is obviously what it ended up being for Stevenson. But the fact that he was called up after the practice and he'll probably skate with the team and everything today, I mean, it could just be the insurance option, right? It could just be the insurance option. Something happens, something happens in the pregame skate, whatever may have you. But it's something to at least monitor, and we'll see if Cassidy has anything to say after today's skate, or if there's anything strange happening in the pregame skate. I don't know if today's is optional or the full team is expected to be there. You'll get some clues early on, though.
What we saw yesterday out of Cassidy at his presser was him speaking about the theme of yesterday's show. Did you take out your bingo card and check off every time he said the word trust? He talked an awful lot about trust.
It's funny. I mean, it's
coincidence
something we've talked to. It's I don't know.
No, the defenseman, he said he doesn't want them to be cheerleaders, and that he has a lot of, with the younger guys, he has a lot of trust with those guys now.
I mean, listen, it's a great thing, right? This is something we did talk about, the trust, or I don't know, circle of trust is the right way to put it, but it's the easiest for this exercise, I guess. And Cassidy's had no choice but to go 3 deep and down to his 9th defenseman on the depth chart right now, and everyone's passing the test, right? I mean, Pahal's got a really good physical element to his game. Korzak has probably a little more well-rounded than Pahal, but maybe not as gritty as Pahal, but still a very, very good player. And Ben Hutton is a Swiss Army knife back there, right? Hutton is getting his games limited a little bit this year because of the fact that there's 2 righty sticks in Pahal and Korzak who are getting the job done, which obviously that's important to Cassidy, making sure you have the proper sticks on the proper side. So it's a great thing that this early in the season, the Golden Knights are able to roll 9 defensemen deep, and they have 1 regulation loss to show for it. And Cassidy's even commenting that the best defensive game of the year came on the backside of a long traveled back-to-back. There you go, Tony. I got that in there for you. But it came in on the backside of a back-to-back with half of the regular defensemen out. Now, Cassidy did say upon farther review, the numbers didn't suggest it was as good of a defensive effort, but Cassidy also went on to say he's going to throw the red challenge flag because he didn't necessarily agree with the analytics. So I thought that was a fun interaction we had yesterday. That was my question in yesterday's presser.
Yeah, we're going to get more into that. And you speak about those right-handed sticks and having sticks on the right side. Interesting point now with Nick Waugh out, we are seeing a lot more of Jack Eichel in the face-off circle with the right-handed long stick.
Yeah, I was going to try.
Can you go in there and measure their hockey sticks?
I might one of these days.
And just see how much longer
Eichel's face-off stats are, because I know I believe Cassidy said there's still some work that needs to be done. But
well, there's always work to be done with Eichel, of course. But he was at about 45% when we last checked, somewhere in there. I think he was in the 40-ish range. So hopefully he's getting better. That's the only area that they're going to point to.
44.6.
Oh, I was close. So still 45. Wow.
It's okay, but I mean, not even looking at the Selke measurements, because with that number, there's not even a conversation is going to be had. But William Karlsson, on the other hand, we'll talk about that another show for another time when I feel like putting Tony on tilt. But Eichel, again, something else Cassidy did talk about, getting that first clear on the penalty kill is really important. And with Jack Eichel at a 44.6 faceoff percentage, it's going to be tough for Eichel to be the first one over the boards because obviously new NHL rule within about the last 4 or 5 years where they put the opening faceoff of the power play in the defensive zone of the team committing the penalty. So something like Eichel needs to improve on, and he will. I mean, the commitment for Eichel to improve his game from a totality perspective has been there since day effing one of his regime, if you will, with the Golden Knights last year. So Eichel will, or a year and a half ago now, 2 years almost, but yeah.
I was late this morning for the show.
I was late.
Not an
I was
excuse.
late.
Not an excuse. It's a circumstance. It was circumstances, not excuses. We'll talk about that when we return. Stay with us right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and the patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, to level it up, if you will, to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, much, much more. Whether you are into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors really does have you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your ride or die, your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride each and every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. We love that line. With all the parts that you need, the prices, of course, that you want, it is easy to turn your car into the most valuable car, or MVC. It says MVP here, but I'm going to go MVC.
I like that.
And bring home the win. Okay. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. That's ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Jack Eichel could have that breakout. He could also have better than 44.6% in the faceoff circle, and he could also score 50 goals. They don't have faceoffs here as one of the criteria, but maybe that's a good thing to point out to our good friends at Sleeper. VGK could be hoisting the Stanley Cup once again, and they can repeat. And you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. It is the official daily fantasy app of course, all of us here at the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you could win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. Fans can also play daily fantasy NFL, NBA, MLB, college football on Sleeper, and entries can be made in less than 1 minute. All you have to do is pick whether you want to pick a stud, someone who can produce for you on a given night, some of the criteria: goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and much, much more in a given game. To win 100 times your bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard us, VGK fans. Make sure that you check it out. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. And so start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your very first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Once again, that is the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We are expanding now to a 6th day with Chris. And Chris, you need to get him a Twitter handle. Big Chris.
I don't know. I was probably going to type in too young for Twitter or something like that on the bottom. I don't know.
That's funny.
That's a conversation for me and Mommy, and we'll see what we'll see.
Over the Lucky Charms, yeah. And then on Fridays, of course,
that sounds good.
WTF.
That sounds good. I'm gonna go get some Lucky Charms. I'll be back.
Magically delicious, of course. Just like this
sponsor
podcast.
Saturday morning sponsor. There we go. I gotta make a call. Is that Kellogg? Who is that?
Did you get your son? Did you get little Chris? In all honesty, did you get him to check out Peter Puck yet?
No, I haven't.
You need
Guilty.
to. You need to. It's just fun. I sent
We're
you
gonna
the link.
we'll after the show. I will pull it up after we do locks.
It is.
And
It
the
is
second we
fun,
log off, I will pull it up for the kids.
and it might make more sense for them when they're watching hockey with all the rules. Although little Chris is just way advanced. Okay, so we got all that in. Circumstances, not excuses. Well, this is a good one. This is one of the all-time South Beach Bruces. I like this. This is funny. He was in rare form yesterday. So we went back to the Anaheim game, had a better stretch with time off than us, 4 games in 6 days. Not an excuse, circumstances. Anaheim
I'm
off
supposed to
4
start
to
talking?
5 days.
Okay.
No, Anaheim off 4 to
Okay.
5 days before that game. Circumstances. We got banged up on the front end. Just circumstances. Circumstances, not excuses. You cannot convince me that he's not one of our everydayers on this show. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, Cassidy was in a fun mood yesterday. He actually, before the cameras started to roll, like he comes out and everyone's like, hey, little pleasantries before the questions start. And there's like this awkward silence for a second. Everyone's kind of looking around and he's like, okay, I'm ready to answer some immaculate questions. And he actually points at me and smiles when he said that. So that was a fun little moment.
He's
So,
listening because he knows that was our word of the day. You could do word of the day on Saturdays too. Every week
Cassidy's funny. He's a good dude. I still got to get a question in with him about my youth hockey team. I just don't know if I can pull it off on the camera, or if I can have a 30-second chit chat with him about how I can execute better breakouts with my 10U hockey team. Shout out to the young guns. I know some of you guys do watch this, so there you go. The circumstances, not excuses. Okay, fine. Here we go. This topic has Tony Cordasco written all over it.
This one is so good. It's so good because I was talking about state-run television and radio. The ice is bad. That's a circumstance, not an excuse. When the ice is bad, from now on, it's a circumstance. This is going to be the thread.
Let's go back to season 5. All right.
But I blasted him here. I just was like, come on, guys. You shouldn't have excuses after every game.
But let's go back to season 5 for a second. Okay. All the injuries and everything. McCrimmon made what I thought was a very fair statement at the end of the season. It was not an excuses, but it is the reality. The reality is they had over 500 something man games lost. So I get no one's ever going to want there to be excuses or anything like that. But something that's big on me when I am talking about, when I do offer a take and something that's a little less popular, I like to come at the perspective of acknowledging reality. Talking about yesterday, you were very high on the top line, and I agreed that the assessments right now, based off of Bleacher Report and where Money Puck had them, I felt the top line has not been performing to, I won't say to a top line standard, because there's ebbs and flows and everything that happens, but they haven't been performing as well from a 5-on-5 perspective. Are there excuses? Other teams are keying in on the top line, which is why your favorite line, the Carlson line, is doing very well, because they're going against obviously the lower defensive units, and Carlson is just having himself a very solid start. So is that an excuse for the top line not to do well? I don't think it's an excuse, but is the reality that the top line's job is going to be the path to them scoring is going to be a little more difficult than the path is going to be for the third, even fourth line at times, depending on how tired the other team's top units are when they do line up out there. So excuses, circumstances, I mean, everything is circumstantial, right? Everything is circumstantial. I'm going to drive to the Strip today to go watch an NHL hockey game. All right. It's going to blanking suck getting down there today, as it's going to blanking suck. Hope I can say blanking, as it's going to blanking suck getting out after Friday night's game, with that being one of the last days before the F1 again takes over the Strip officially and closes almost everything down. So is that an excuse that I might be late? I like to be there about 5 o'clock. It's not an excuse. Is the F1 a circumstance that's going to make my day blanking worse? Yes, it is a blanking circumstance. Can I say blanking? I said it 6 times.
It's pretty good.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of it. Okay. Moving forward.
But Cassidy did speak
WTF?
well.
What the F1? There you go. Okay.
No. It's WTF1.
WTF1.
That's
New
going to be
segment
our
Friday. New
segment.
segment Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Just 20 minutes on it.
But again, we heard that Cassidy said that this is a team. I think he swiped your story from the other day, that they have a standard of winning. They have a standard of winning, Chris.
A golden standard. Golden standard.
And they
That's my
respond
story.
well
A
after
golden
losses.
standard.
Yes, but again, they're paying attention. That's a good thing. That this team does well, responds well after a loss. Even after they lose a game, they're back at it. They start to look ahead, and they do have this certain standard. Even if they're winning and not playing well, they want to lift up to the level where they expect to be.
I mean, Cassidy has full buy-in right now. The team, back to the trust yesterday. The team trusts him. Cassidy trusts every player inside that locker room, where, maybe listening to his comments in the preseason were a little, suggested that enough people maybe didn't have the trust. Of course, that was more geared towards Comtois than anyone, it seemed like. Obviously, no longer around. Only played one game, I believe, so far with the Chicago Wolves. So something strange happening there, unfortunately. I mean, it could be injury. I don't know. I was trying to look around on Twitter and figure out why he only had played one game. I honestly don't know what the answer is yet, but
good update.
Hopefully he's doing well. I mean, obviously, I don't wish anything bad on him, but we did hear a lot about that coach's trust in the locker room and stuff like that. He had mentioned players like Dorofeev, Paul Cotter is now on a different level and things of that nature. And, there's full buy-in. There is full buy-in. There is not what's happening in Edmonton right now, not even close. Toronto is always in a strange spot. I mean, they're going to win games 6-5, but once they start losing those games 4-1, that's obviously when they start looking in the locker room. They look at the coach and what's happening up there. So, what Cassidy is going on is pretty remarkable. And I mean, I know we're only at November 8th, but we're talking about a hockey team that is 11-1 with absolutely no sign of a Stanley Cup hangover or a localized Vegas flu.
Yeah, and Edmonton is just, they have empathy for VGK, and they're taking on the hangover themselves.
Hey, I bet the Sharks last night. And they won.
I saw you put that up there. Do factor.
I bet the review. No, but here was my bet. I bet the reverse puck line. I bet they would win by 2 goals or more.
They were up by 2 at some point.
They were up by 2, and they had the empty netter. Philly got a goal late in the. I don't think it crossed the line. Like when you watch the replay, Mackenzie Blackwood's glove was kind of there, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna, like Cassidy, I'm gonna have a talk with some people and see if I can get something worked out.
He's going to be Mackenzie Blackwood for 2 months running. Will be the player of the month. You can rest assured.
Listen, he's actually having a good season, all things considered. With the fact that he's on I think he's averaging 68 shots a game against right now. It's terrible. It's not that much. It's bad.
That's worth a lot worse than Gibson last season. So
Gibson looks good right now. Dostal looks good too. Anaheim's doing well.
Again, the circumstances around Anaheim, I'm telling you, that puck had eyes. That's circumstance. The puck had eyes. Okay. Analytics. He took a look at the analytics. You asked him about playing their best defensive game of the season, perhaps one of the top games defensively. He said analytics didn't back it up.
In not so many words, you got kind of a chuckle about that because so Cassidy's comment post game Sunday was he felt it was one of the best defensive games of the year, if not the best defensive game of the year once they get to look at the analytics. So that was my follow-up question. And I was in a bad spot in the media scrum yesterday because the first 3 questions were along the lines of the reinforcements. So I waited a little bit so that wouldn't be as fresh. And then I came in with the analytics side first. And then also, what does that just talk about, like the confidence that you have? And I forgot the follow-up question there, but he got kind of a chuck as well. Maybe the analytics weren't quite as, I forgot the exact wording he used, but he said, I question that. So, I mean, he's got the guys back. He's got the team's back right now and the young defenseman's back. And let's say it again, they're 9 deep right now and they're 11-1-1. If this team can enter the playoffs fully healthy, I don't think the series game. I think there'll be a couple more series that only go 4 or 5 games versus 5 and 6 games. That's how good they are right now.
Coming up next on the show, we will have our locks of the night and our predictions for tonight's game as it's VGK against the LA Kings. Stay with us right here on Locked On Golden Knights. You can score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. And I'm going to be at that Jets-Raiders game on Sunday, and I don't think either team's going to win, to be honest with you. So get your $150. If you're thinking about joining FanDuel, it's really a good time to do so. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including point spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the National Football League. Welcome back from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen. Don't forget our features that come up this week. On Friday, it's WTF1 Friday. WTF1 Friday. We'll have that, of course, with your comments intertwined. And then on Saturday, the debut of this guy. Is he the cut man? Like in a boxing corner with is that a robe or is that a towel? What's going on?
Blanket. Right that you know what that is? That is his day. I'm not going to say it because he's here, but that's his
it's
day one blanket
blankie.
right there.
That's
his day one blanket. That's his day one blanket. Does
he call it a blankie though?
Does he? You
Come
call it a
on,
blankie?
Dad. Give him a break.
It's his day one blankets. It's all good.
Okay, it's time for our predictions and our locks of the night. Whoa. Okay, so little Chris is ready to go right now.
He's scrappy. He's scrappy.
Let's get your picks in.
All right, Chris, go ahead. What you're batting lead off today? What do you got tonight, buddy? Which 2 players first? Chris, by which shoulder?
Let's go Stone and Mario.
Stone and Ammo. All right, what's your score tonight, buddy? What's your score?
3-2 LA. 5 rounds of shootout.
Wow.
3-2 LA. 5-round shootout.
5 rounds.
Not a bad prediction. All right, Allie, come on.
Allie's on the show.
We got Allie. We got them all today.
Allie, thanks for waking up for us this morning.
Allie, across my shoulder so we can see you. Okay, Allie, which 2 players first?
Marcho and Stone.
Stone and Marchessault. Shocker there.
Yeah.
What's the score, Allie?
Prediction, yeah.
3-2 Knights.
3-2 Knights. There you go. All right,
Does
Allie,
she know
puts
that
her
she's
11.
Become an internet sensation? Does
you are
she
an
know
internet
that?
sensation. You are huge. Everyone loves you. I got an eye roll.
She just started. She's mumbling. This is great.
Here, my kids. Here's what I just got busted for. I got these packs of cards on my desk. I do these as giveaways during my shows. So Allie just grabbed one on the way out.
Okay. And then did you find the Bedard card?
We are currently at 100.
Oh my goodness.
21 boxes, no Bedard. 121 boxes, no Bedard.
Jeez, we're gonna have
a case break of the product. We're doing 12 more boxes on Friday. We're gonna take a shot.
You know, when we're talking about LA, I was kind of tough myself on Cam Talbot at the start of the season. I didn't think that was a good find, but he's playing pretty well. I anticipate now with 16 days off.
Yeah, he's got a 9.23.
Yeah, a 9.23 currently, right? And yeah, even though they've had like a month off, and those are circumstances and not an excuse.
Shut up.
I'm going to go with LA winning tonight 5-3 with an ENG in there. Okay. And I'm going to go with Stone and Howden. And these teams, didn't we say this before? Don't they play just 3 times this season?
Is it them or Edmonton? Edmonton's only 3 times. I know that for sure.
I think it's LA 3 times. And then I think it's over after December.
It could be. I mean, there's a good chance they're going to have a collision course sometime in April and May anyway. God, so two of you guys are on LA, one's on Vegas. Allie's always on Vegas. Theodore and Stevenson, I do like that. If for some reason Stevenson doesn't go, which I don't think there's in danger.
You got Ron Bjork.
No, I'm going to Ammo as a backup. I'm going with Amadio as a backup.
Okay,
because he'll be centering the line with with Stone. So we'll take Ammo if he steps up if Stevenson can't go. And 3-1 Vegas. I think they handle him. I go back to the game where the two teams met when Vegas was on the backside of the back-to-back. And they still got stronger as that game went on, right? They got a lot stronger as the game.
Oh, VGK did, because they beat them to LA 4 hours.
They beat in LA 4 hours, yes. And
the circumstance, it's not an excuse in that game. It was a circumstance, though, for sure.
Kings have had 3 calendar days off. The last time they played was the 4th. So
they've
been off the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And Golden Knights have only had they've been off for 2 days. So I don't know if you can go on covers and see if any of that crap matters. But it should be, what I will say is it should be a good best on best situation. Both teams will come in rested circumstance. There you go, Tony. So I think it'll be a little cleaner start to the game. And tight checking, this will be like the third time we've said playoff atmosphere, come November, but it could almost be that type of atmosphere tonight. We'll see.
Should be a lot of fun. I'll be over at UNLV opening night. Not working.
Why'd they get rid of the basketball court? Used to be so much cooler. Why'd they get rid of the skyline, Tony?
So that's what I'm saying. I really liked the skyline, but I think they had to add the sphere and then a lot of traffic cones in there to make it updated there to keep it fresh. But no, I did like it. From what I understand, truth here. From what I understand is that there were some issues with trademarks too of all those properties and using artwork and what have you, but I would have definitely figured it out. I like that a lot better, but I went on Saturday when they had the open practice and the court is clean and it looks much better in person, I have to admit. And it also has that new court smell. It still smells like paint.
Okay, fine. Maybe no skyline, but give it like some type of Vegas reference.
Some flavor. I'm with you,
a little bit of flavor, but not Flavor Flav. Definitely not Flavor Flav doing the
no national anthem. Flavor Flav. Awful. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially you, our everydayer that tunes in each and every day. Don't forget, coming up on Friday, WTF1, What the Friday One. And then on Saturday, we will have, of course, the Chris and Chris Show. Is that what we're calling it? Right here on YouTube. Don't miss it,
it's
folks.
YouTube exclusive. It'll be YouTube exclusive.
Record numbers. They're going for record numbers on Saturday.
Hey, we'll take it.
It'll be a lot of fun. Have fun at the game tonight, Chris.
Yes, definitely.
And we appreciate everyone for tuning in. And subscribe to that YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights, for my man, Chris Golick, Tony Cardasco here from Las Vegas. And take care. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.